Hi, I'm Corey.
And I'm Gary.
And you're watching a CNG Treasures video.
Enjoy. During one of our treasure hunts, we came across an old in-ground cistern. We could tell there was some debris inside, but it was so bright out we couldn't determine what that debris might include. And unfortunately, my flashlight wasn't strong enough to handle the difference between the brightness of the sunlight and the darkness in the cistern itself. So I held my camera in the opening and took a couple of flash photos, and we went on our way to continue with our hunt. I reviewed the photos when we got back to see if there was anything of interest. There were some bottles, most of which looked newer, so I wasn't too interested, but wanted to move some of the material and see if there was anything older down there. I was able to compute the depth of the cistern based on the image data, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to climb down, so I wanted at least to see if I could retrieve some things without going down there. I began to think about how to pick up a bottle from a distance. I thought the neck of the bottle is probably the best target, so I decided to buy a 6 to 12 foot paint roller extension, and I was going to fix a rubber band to the end to be able to snag the neck of the bottles. I thought this would be a better idea than a rope because I would have more control over placement. I decided to put something on the end to protect the threads of the pole, and to be honest, I didn't look too hard for that. But while I was at Lowe's buying the extension, I saw this small roller brush and thought I could use the handle to do what I needed to do. So I bought the roller brush, determined I wanted to use this length, which means I would just hacksaw through this at this point. So here's the handle removed from the roller. I did buff the edge a little bit, although that's really of no consequence for function. Next, I found a bag of old rubber bands from another task and decided to use one of this thickness because I thought it would have the right tension and support to retrieve the bottle. That was simply a guess, but it worked out well because the bottles were empty. A full bottle might produce different requirements. What you see here is the handle screwed onto the end of the extension pole, and I fixed the rubber band using the part that lies wide as opposed to long to the end of that handle. Although this worked for me, I encourage experimentation with that choice. I'm using gaffer's tape, which is a cloth-based tape used by the film industry. Having worked in the industry, I find it a very viable resource because it will stick and stick and stick, and yet you can remove it without leaving much, if any, residue, unlike what you would typically find with duct tape. Now, it is considerably more expensive than duct tape, but I have just come to believe that it is more serviceable in many situations. And now for the test. I fixed a GoPro to the end of the pole, and you can see that there's a camera shooting from ground level. The first time through, I was able to snag the neck of the bottle and, as you can see, lift it high into the air. So we did go back to the cistern and retrieve several bottles, most of which were newer, so we took them out, but not really with the intent to do much of anything with them. It was more a practical continuation of the test, and I was able to see that this was an effective way to retrieve bottles safely at a distance. You just have to make sure that you have adequately spun the pole to increase the tension of the rubber band around the neck of the bottle, snugging it against the pole. It might take a little bit of practice, but I think you should be able to do that and learn the process relatively quickly. As a side note, I've also used the pole at full extension with a GoPro to peruse the contents of a small pond. I hope this is some help to you. If you have a better idea, please suggest it. It's always good to entertain other thoughts and learn. Here's hoping your treasure hunts are successful and safe. Thanks for watching.